Opened in 1960 by Bruton Smith and NASCAR driving legend Curtis Turner, Charlotte Motor Speedway was born with ambition, launching stock car racing into uncharted territory with the longest NASCAR race ever run, the World 600. But that dream nearly collapsed before it ever took off. Just 1 year later, the 1.5-mile oval was in bankruptcy, stalled by an unforgiving granite outcrop in the infield that sent construction costs soaring. Fast forward 65 years, and this isn't just a racetrack. This is the epicenter of stock car racing. More than 94,000 seats surround a facility that has rewritten NASCAR history time and time again. Charlotte lit up the night first. It redefined the fan experience with trackside condos, office towers, naming rights, and a year-round club atmosphere. It's the home track for most race teams, where setups are perfected, rivalries are born, and championships are built long before they're won. And tonight, the heart of stock car racing, where speed meets pressure and mistakes are punished at 190 miles per hour, the stakes rise once again. Engines roar, the field tightens, and every lap matters. This is the ZeroX Strategy Series North Carolina 125, and it starts now on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway Season 3 of the ZeroX Strategy Series, the North Carolina 125. Race details for tonight: 125 laps the distance, 65% fuel on board, 2 tire sets available over the wall, no fast repairs, 0 zip zillage, and count it, one attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Hope we don't need it, but it's there if we do. Practice wrapping up here at the Speedway. So far, the fastest time, Wesley Jeanette. Been quick these last handful of races. 29:19, the fast time for the 74. Ray Hanneman, 29:22. Jim Treat with a 23. Di Pasquale, 27. Real tight times in that top 4. Brandon Moore, the 29:32, is his fastest lap of the afternoon so far. Just about a minute left in this session. Season winding down, though. Let's take a look at the remaining schedule. Of course, Charlotte tonight, then Gateway next Tuesday on St. Patrick's Day. Not going to lie, this broadcaster may have a few Guinnesses in him at that point, maybe a Jameson or two. It's going to be a fun one either way. And then we close out the season on March the 24th, Nashville Superspeedway, for 135 laps to determine the ZeroX Strategy Series champion. Got to give thanks to the sponsors that have helped out all season long as we wind down the schedule: ZeroX Media and Design, Admin Box, Snowbelt Industries, Youngblood Racing, and of course, Fueled Up. Clock about to strike 1 hour completed here in this practice session. That'll do it for us here at Charlotte. Brief pause before we get into our qualifying session. 5 minutes, 2 laps, whatever expires first. Looks like Don Canwright will be the first to roll out of pit lane. Canwright coming up to speed into turns 3 and 4 before he sees the green flag to start his first lap. Canwright looking good down the back straightaway. Cross start finish. Canwright locks in 29.81. Go to Wesley Jeanette, 29.62. Jeanette sits P4 as the 11 of Ben Smith goes to the top with a 5.09. Wesley Jeanette, time to beat, 29.458 as Jason Blaney goes to the top. $29.578 Wesley Jeanette, P6 in qualifying. Now Tom Janikowski looking down the barrel of a 29.458. And Janikowski goes to the point, 29.440. Big pickup over Ryan Blaney. Sorry, Jason Blaney. Sad to say, it's not the first time I've done that. Second lap, not faster for Janikowski. He runs a 29.656. Now to Nathan Line. 29.818, first time by. Front row, it's Tom Janikowski, Jason Blaney. Janikowski's lap, 29.440. Line picks up 29.612 on his second lap. Now to Chris Pieria. Chris ran at 8.63 his first lap, way up top of the racetrack off turn 2, just about 3-4 inches off that outside safer barrier. Oh, and he lifts right before the line, so that lap going to be slower, 30.089 for Chris Pieria. Jackson West now on the 76. New colors on the 76 this week. .45 seconds left in the session as Jackson West goes 30.182. Time to beat 29.440. Tom Janikowski currently sits on the provisional pole. Ken Lowry, the only driver not to take a time at this point, likely to not get one in. He has not started it, so Lowry will likely start dead last and 21st here this evening. Jackson picks up a little, 30.029, good enough for 19th. So that's it, qualifying in the books. Starting field set, the North Carolina 125. With that, let's take a look at our starting grid on the pole position with a lap time of 29.440, blistering quick. Tommy Janikowski, the number 93, outside pole, missed it by 17 one-thousandths of a second, the 22 of Jason Blaney. Starting in this second row, it's going to be Ben Smith, the ZeroX Sim Racing number 11, and Brandon Moore from Fueled Up Motorsports. Row number 3, Jason Aranchak and Raymond Hanneman. Row 4 is Austin Walton and Juan Linares. Row number 5, Wesley Jeanette, fastest in the practice session with Jim Treat to his right elbow. Starting in the 11th position, it's Nathan Line. 12th goes to Matt Sisler. 13th starter is Mike Prachik. Scott Stocka will roll 14th. Michael Thorne, 15th. Don Canwright, 16th position. 17th goes to Johnny DePasquale. Chris Pieria will roll off in the 18th position. Jackson West, 19th. Darren Jones, 20th. And shotgun on the field in the 35. Didn't take a lap in qualifying. It'll be the number 35 of Ken Lowry. It's your starting grid here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Field getting gridded up right as we speak. We'll be ready to roll here momentarily. Once again, big thanks to the sponsors all season long: ZeroX Media and Design, Snowbelt Industries, Admin Box, Youngblood Racing, and Fueled Up. Field rolling off a pit lane here. One pace lap will be green flag racing the next time by, unless the admins add an extra lap just to get everything lined up where they need to be. Stream chat's awful quiet, folks. Chime in, say hello. Usually you guys are my most talkative group. Let's keep that going. Once again, the race details for tonight. 125 laps the distance. It's 65% load of fuel on board. 2 sets of tires over the wall. No fast repairs. 1 attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Sun is getting a little low on the horizon here. 73-degree track temperature. That may fall a little bit further as the sun continues to set. See if that has any effect on lap times, as the track surface does tend to cool off. Pace car heads to pit lane. Barney with the green in hand, ready to get us underway here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. There it is. Green flag in the air. We are underway from Concord, North Carolina. Field spills out onto the back straightaway, 2x2 about mid-pack and down. Jason Blaney quickly takes over the top spot from Tom Janikowski. Janikowski now under pressure from Benjamin Smith. Back to start finish. Blaney will lead lap number 1. Want to make note here, the 35 of Ken Lowry did not take the green flag, and he is listed as out of this race, so Lowry will take a dead last finishing position here this afternoon. Janikowski working the high side already, trying to work in that high groove. Maintains the second position behind leader Jason Blaney. See how late the 93 is turning in, and he had a little bit of a run there through 1 and 2. Is he going to carry that down the straightaway? Not quite. Blaney maintains it, but Janikowski looking racy there in the second spot. League owner Dustin in the chat says, might have had issues, said there were storms in the area. I think he's referring to Ken Lowry there. It's a tough break. Been through that myself. It's even worse when you're broadcasting and it happens. Tough break for the 35, though. Not a good points night as the season gets late. Not a championship contender, but nonetheless. Dustin in the chat again, helping us out with the fuel window. About 40 laps on a tank of fuel with that 65% load. Those that don't know, the league admins are able to make adjustments to the fuel percentages that you start with and how full you can get that tank on a pit stop. So they've got it adjusted down to 65%. That kind of forces a little bit of strategy. Of course, the race lengths are certainly not full distance Cup Series races. You get them in here in about an hour and a half or so. But they call it the ZeroX Strategy Series for a reason, as Janikowski throws strategy out the window and just powers around the outside for the race lead. Meanwhile, Ben Smith now attacking Jason Blaney for second. Blaney clips the apron a bit, slides up the racetrack, but hangs on to it. Janikowski working the high lane. I don't know what that's going to do to the tire wear in the 93, but for now, it's the fast way around. It is also a longer way around. We've had some pretty clean races here as of late. If this thing happens to go green all the way to the end, will that be a determining factor of the fuel load he's going to need to take on in that final pit stop? But man, Janikowski is just checking out. Half a second now back to Jason Blaney in P2. Austin Walton now working the outside of the number 9, seeing that Janikowski's making it work. Might as well give it a go. A little bit of contact with Ben Smith down the back straightaway off turn number 2. Walton makes the pass, gets clear of Blaney, takes the second spot. Wesley Jeanette in a bit of an argument here for the 7th position. Jeanette the 74 down low, and here comes Matt Sisler up the back bumper of Brandon Moore. Moore hangs on to that 7th position, but now Sisler trying to take 8th from the 74. Wesley can't keep it parked on the bottom of the racetrack there. Slides up into the middle groove. Gets to the door of Matt Sisler. No contact is made. Wesley taking care of his stuff here. Keep an eye on him later on if he continues just to be easy and smooth behind the wheel of that number 74. He still may be a factor. He's been fast as of late. Maybe fast isn't necessarily the way to go right now. Just take care of your stuff. Sisler does take the position, however, so Wesley now back to 9th. Now, just as soon as we talk about it, we got a battle for the lead, and Austin Walton going for it. The number 9 to the bottom of the racetrack will take it away from Tom Janikowski. A couple more stream chatters. We got Snack Tash says, "Let's go Ray," number 85. We got Sandra Nielsen, 8010. Says, "Let's go Johnny D." Granny's rooting for you. Janikowski, though, going to battle back on the bottom of the racetrack, wants to maintain that top spot. Clean air is king. Certainly makes your life a whole lot easier. You don't want to be tucked up too far behind a guy too long, because you'll start to get that dreaded arrow push, and up the racetrack you see Janikowski goes, likely a result of that. Start sliding the nose. You're just going to get that right front tire hotter and hotter, and then it becomes a little bit less manageable. We got Dennis Janikowski in the chat. Let's go 93. Dennis, thanks for checking in, saying hey. So Austin Walton, your current leader. Janikowski from pole runs second. Jason Blaney led those initial couple of laps, but he's settled back into the third position. Jason Aranchak, Benjamin Smith, the top five. Jano AJ, let's go 93 in the stream chat. We had some cloud cover to start this race, but now the sun's starting to sprinkle its way back out of the racetrack. Turns 1 and 2 relatively covered, not so much on the middle portion to exit of turn 2. Turns 3 and 4 are going to be blanketed in sunshine as Johnny DePasquale catches the wall off turn number 2 just a moment ago. Johnny working to the outside of Nathan Line will get clear and take the position. Just about 20 laps into this race already, 125 laps the scheduled distance. About halfway through our fuel run to this point. Really impressed to see Janikowski still hanging on to that second spot and maintaining pace with Austin Walton. In fact, last time by, he was a little bit faster by about half a tenth over the race leader. This time things kind of stayed the same. Walton runs about a 30-40 and Janikowski a 30-39, so very close together there, and considering that Janikowski's in that dirty air, pretty impressive. That also might be why Tom's going up the racetrack there. Go in that high lane, kind of get out of that weight that the 9 is throwing out behind him. Making a move to the outside, scrapes the car onto safer barriers. Sisler drops to the bottom. He's going to try and get them both. I don't think he'll get it done here, but he'll take it from the 11 of Ben Smith. So Sisler up 6 positions from 12th, just outside the top 5 here, just 21 laps in from Charlotte. Dustin in the chat again says this new aero update making it interesting. It's always the struggle when you run a league race on a Tuesday. If there's a major update, you really don't have a whole lot of time to get ready for the changes. So far, though, everybody's doing a good job here. Clean race to this point. 23 laps in of nothing but racing. Sisler now working on Juan Linares, wants to put the 31 up into the top 5. Walton still leads, about a 0.6 of a second advantage over the 93 of Janikowski. So Sisler takes the position to move the number 31, 3 birdies Camaro, into the top 5. Sisler is on rails right now. Last lap for him, even in traffic, 30:42. The leader, Walton, in clean air, a 30:28. Now that Sisler's got a little bit of daylight out ahead of him, we'll see if this lap time improves and compare it to the race leader. A lot closer. In fact, faster. 30:39 for Matt Sisler. Race leader weighing at 46. Remember, they were running 29s in qualifying, so tire fall off is a thing here tonight. Meanwhile, Austin Walton just checking out. 1.2 now back to Tom Janikowski. Third place has changed hands, though, as Aranchak has made his way around the 22 of Blaney, so move the 84 up into the third spot. Oh, Linares in the wall again. They're off at 2. Big egg of cars here just outside the top 10. Ben Smith in the 11. Dropping through the field here. Might have burned his stuff up a little early. Speaking of another big mover, Johnny DePasquale in that number 1 machine. He's worked his way up 8 positions now, finds himself within the top 10. So, Dustin, is it fair to say, with all the practice out the window, that this first run is kind of like a practice, but with anger? It's really giving these guys a real-world opportunity here to see what their car is going to do in traffic. Man, Aranchak is flying. Meanwhile, he's up to that second spot now if he gets clear of Tom Janikowski. Jason must have saved his stuff as we get near the end of this first run. Blaney taking the fight back to the 84. Ranchak was able to make short work of Janikowski, but man, here comes Sisler. He's up to 4th now. Really might just come down to some of the guys that went after it right out of the gate, trying to push the car as hard as possible to see what it was capable of. Again, a new aerodynamic update here from iRacing today. Drivers might just be trying to get a feel for things. And Don Canwright has gone off the track. Not sure exactly what happened. We see if we got a replay of it here. Looks like we do. This is down the backstretch. Watch the blue and white machine. Short ride through the grass into turn 3. We stay green. So kind of what we were thinking could happen with Tom Janikowski. He was dedicated to that top lane in the early portions of the run. It paid dividends for a while, but as we get near the end of this fuel run, Janikowski has fallen back to P6. It might be 7th here if Wesley Jeanette's got anything to say about it. Hanneman, he's down 5 positions from the drop of the green flag. Again, very well could be a situation where we're just going to take care of this thing for a little bit, get this first fuel run out of the way, see what the car's really got in race conditions. Don't count out that 85 machine just yet. And you know what? I think Hanneman's saving fuel. Let's go on board and listen. There it is. Got the clutch in. Letting it roll to the center, then back on the power. Speaking of that, Hanneman did have an EOL to start tonight's race, so being up into the 11th position, certainly impressive. But again, he is still out there taking care of it and saving fuel. Again, roughly 40 laps on a tank of fuel. If this runs green all the way to the end, they're going to be a couple of laps short. So if Hanneman can save a few here, he can maybe eliminate one pit stop. Maybe. Sisler continues to march forward. Now he's clear of Jason Aranchak for 3rd. "40 laps in here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Austin Walton so far the dominant car. But 27 laps of the 40 completed. He'll lead lap 28 for the afternoon. Austin did not have a spectacular qualifying effort. Not terrible. 7th quick in the qualifying session, but now leads this race and looking pretty strong here, especially late in the run. Going to start lap 42. We may start seeing some drivers decide to peel off and hit pit lane. Oh, Aranchak scraping the wall off turn 2. And Tom Janikowski on pit lane, and it looks like he's going to get a black flag, potentially too fast entering. Johnny DiPasquale and Michael Thorne also in the pits. Meanwhile, race leader Austin Walton will head on down, and he'll drag Matt Sisler with him. Jason Blaney stays out on the racetrack to lead again. Jason Aranchak pulls down into pit lane as well. Walton and Sisler service complete. They'll head back out into action. And you see Tom Janikowski there, pole sitter, sitting there idle, waiting for this penalty to expire. Tough break for the 93. It was a quick stop, too. 13-15 for the 93, but it all goes out the window with the penalty. Jason Blaney starts lap 45, so he's really stretched the fuel mileage. "46 laps now for Blaney. Does he pit this time? I think he's kind of have to. Yeah, here he comes. Coming with him looks like Johnny DePasquale. And I wanted to say that was Ken Lowry, but I don't think he's in the car. That might have been Raymond Hanneman. Indeed it was. So our first round of green flag stops just about completed. Brandon Moore seemed to stretch the fuel the furthest as he is out on the racetrack now. Has he still got fuel in it? Brandon Moore brings it to pit road speed. And yes, he did go furthest out of the field on a tank of fuel. Comes down as the leader, the last one to pit. So this will also put him on a little bit of a tire advantage. Now those that pit before him had the advantage prior, so they're going to be a little bit faster prior to the 3 coming down to take his service. So he's just going to have to make it back up. But near the end of the race, this could pay off. So 4 tires in Sunoco race fuel for the 3 of Brandon Moore. He's down and away. 15:07 the stop. But Matt Sisler, your new race leader, but not by much, as Austin Walton there hot on his trail. Sisler with a very quick pit stop by comparison. Sisler was a 14:67. Austin Walton a 15:08. I said 15:67? A 14:67. So about 7/10 faster. So Gamer981, I think that's Ken Lowry in the chat, says, "I'm out watching storms. We got lucky so far, but we have more on the way." Well, keep your head down and be safe out there. Not sure if you're in the tornado part of the world, but either way, be safe, man. That's all that matters. You could just hop in the bathtub and listen into the race that way if you'd like. It's probably safe, too, as long as there's no windows. Sisler has let the leader go, Austin Walton, but Matt's already back in fuel save mode. Let's take a look here at the pit strategies with our leaders, or top 10 drivers. Walton went 42 laps, Sisler 42, Blaney 46, and you see there in 9th, Brandon Moore now up to 8th, went 47 laps on his tank of fuel. Yes, he's a bit in the rears right now, about 8 seconds off this lead battle. But now he can stretch it a little further the next time by. That final pit stop, he can really hammer down. Lowry's in Oklahoma. Yeah, well, it gets a little windy there this time of year. So back out front, Austin Walton, your race leader. 33 laps led so far today of the 53 we've got up on the board. And we got Mike Fahey in the chat. Mike from Lone Star Racing runs in the PSRA Open ARCA Series on Sunday nights. Some familiar faces in this race from around iRacing. I've ran with Sisler and Hanneman in 2 separate leagues. Small world. Sisler's been around for a while. He used to run over in those LSR races, I think. A little bit of no bull racing as well. I think Fahey's still out in Texas these days, but I think his hometown was Ilion, New York. Not too far down the New York State Thruway from where we're broadcasting right now. I think the family's still there. I think Mike Fahey, an active Air Force member, I believe. Hopefully I didn't screw that up. Top 6 drivers, all championship contenders. A couple more in the top 10. That's Brandon Moore and Johnny DePasquale. Chris Pieria back in 15th. Pole sitter Tom Janikowski a lap down in 17th after a pit road penalty. That's going to be a tough one to overcome, but we've been running really clean. We're about 10 laps, a little less than 10 laps shy of halfway here at Charlotte. No cautions to speak of. I'll knock on wood right now. But Janikowski would love one. He just needs to get clear of Darren Jones, who is the first car 1 lap down. Janikowski about a half straightaway plus in the rear view from Darren Jones. Would need to reel him in, get into that lucky dog position, and then cross his fingers for a yellow. Meanwhile, Walton jumped out to a full second advantage over Matt Sisler, who has been in fuel save mode pretty much from the time he left pit lane. And there's tornadoes everywhere. I think it's Ken Lowry who says it was bad enough that the tornado sirens went off and kept going off after it went by. Better to be safe than sorry. Mike Fahey, kind of the same thing. Thought I was going to have to hop in the bathtub myself. Had a tornado 15 miles from the house. Jason Blaney still hanging there in the 3rd position. Didn't really gain any time through his cycle of pit stops, but again, there was all varying times. Austin Walton, Matt Sisler, they both came down at lap 42, so they got on those fresh tires a little bit sooner than just about everybody else. They were able to gain that track position because of that extra grip. Blaney came down at lap 46, and he'll kind of yield those benefits at the end of the run. Mike Fahey, if you're still out here watching, if you need the Discord, I can send it to you as well. Either way, looks like Dustin posted it up in the stream chat as well. Austin Walton continues to lead as we get ourselves just past halfway here from Charlotte Motor Speedway, the North Carolina 125. We're going to step away here and get our side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens, UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Charlotte Motor Speedway, 70 laps in the books. Austin Walton strong and continuing to lead, but that lead is dwindling. It was over a second prior to the break. Now we're about 3/4 of a second as Matt Sisler starting to run him down. Last lap for Walton, a 30:34. Matt Sisler will cross the stripe, and he'll lock in a 30:45. So Walton still just a tick faster than Sisler, at least the last time by. 14 cars still on the lead lap. Jason Aranchak in 14th. He's the last car there. Jason was showing some strong pace early, running up in the top 3. Unfortunately, though, for Tom Janikowski, he's still back in 18th, and they've put some more cars laps down. Mike Prachik, Darren Jones, and Michael Thorne. So Tommy's got a few cars now ahead of him. He'll have to get by before the caution would come out if he wants to pick up that lucky dog. Recapping this race so far, we're 74 laps in. Austin Walton continues to lead. We've had 7 lead changes in just 74 laps. No cautions to speak of, though. Clean and green so far, already past halfway, so I'd call it a clean race regardless of what happens from here on in. Go on board with Jason Blaney again, take a listen. I think he might be saving some fuel himself. Though he did just take the spot from Matt Sisler to move himself up into second spot. Sisler now about 4/10 in the rear. No fuel save yet. Let's see if he tries to save it here into turn number 3. So he's running up on some traffic. Nope, still good. 50 laps to go here from Charlotte. And Tom Janikowski with some mechanical black flag. I don't know if he blew a tire or if he got in the wall, but Janikowski now, day going from bad to worse after a pit speeding penalty on entry. Now will come to pit lane with a problem. I don't see visual damage on the race car, but he does have a mechanical black flag. This could be a right front tire failure for the 93. Remember, we talked about that in the open. Not the open, with the opening laps. It's running that real high side. Just makes you wonder what it's doing to the tires, and unfortunately, looks like it may have hurt them, at least for the 93. So Janikowski will stop in his pit box. We're nearing another round of green flag stops. We're not quite there yet. Again, taking a look at that strategy window here. 42, 46, 42. At least that was the first green flag run that we had. The yellow there is the current run that we are on. Walton about, say, 6 laps away from another pit stop if he sticks to that same strategy. Same can be said for Jason Blaney. Matt Sisler. Blaney would be about 4 laps further, so he's got some time to stay out there, so he may actually cycle back around too. So it all is going to depend here on if you've worked this race backwards the right way. I know it's kind of how you would set up for road course fuel strategy, run the race backwards. Basically be the first driver to pit for the last time, and that's usually going to put you in a good position to win. I don't know if that's necessarily going to come to fruition here at Charlotte, but it's going to be a fun one to watch to find out. Meanwhile, Jason Blaney still in the second spot, 0.6 of a second now, only 1 car between him and the race lead. That's the lap car, I believe, of Darren Jones. Indeed it is. And there you see the cream rises to the top yet again. The top 7 drivers are championship contenders. It's funny how that works out. Everybody looks at the NASCAR Cup Series, how they used to run the chase every year, and magically those top 4 drivers would always qualify in the top 4 at the last race of the year and usually finish 1 through 4. Well, it's not a setup, folks. As a caution comes out, it's not a setup, because that's what's happening right now, and it looks like we've got a problem on the racetrack, though I'm not sure who it is. And again, I don't have an indicator here as to who brought out the yellow, but our first caution coming out here about lap 81. And forgive me, guys, I'm choking on my own spit here. If anybody knows who triggered this yellow, I'll try to take a peek at it. I don't have any indication from the iRacing data as to who triggered it. Timing is okay, though. It's right about when we were expecting to see some guys start to peel off and head to pit road. Austin Walton will bring him down. Potentially Michael Thorne, as it looks like he may have been in pit lane prior to the leaders here. So we'll go back and look at that in a minute. Watch these pit stops unfold. Looks like everybody got in without speeding. And Blaney now in that second position pit box. Actually has a clean pit box ahead of him with Janikowski vacating the session. But Walton's going to beat him out. Blaney will restart right next to the 9 here as we get ready to go back green. It looks like it was Brandon Moore and Jim Treat involved in this yellow. Let's see if we can go back and take a look. Moore had a big run to the bottom, and Treat tried to close the door, just didn't get there fast enough. That looks like Earnhardt and Waltrip here at Charlotte years ago. If it weren't for that secondary contact, I think Jim would have saved it. But there you have it. First caution of the race. Lap 81. So pace car lights already off, so we're going to be restarting the next time by. Front row will be Austin Walton, Jason Blaney. Row 2, Juan Linares and Matt Sisler. Keep an eye on the 31. He has been very quick on a fresh set of tires. And when we get the green, it's going to put us right at the edge of the anticipated fuel window. Remember, Walton and Sisler, they went 42 laps on a tank of fuel. We're 43 from the finish right now. Of course, you do need to finish that final lap. So a little bit of fuel save is going to be helpful here, especially if you're going to try and make sure you got enough for a green-white checkered finish. Though, if I'm any of these guys in contention for the win right now, I'm not focusing on a green-white checkered at all. We've had no cautions up to this point, lap 81 being our first. Kind of got to gamble a little bit here, plan it for it to be a race in regulation. Pace car's in.
Green flag.
Walton leads him into turns 3 and 4. Man, he is strong tonight. Battle is on, though, behind him. Matt Sisler working to the outside of Raymond Hanneman. Juan Linares just ahead of the 85. Linares shown in the 3rd position. Oh, Hanneman in the fence there off the exit of 4. Almost some contact there with Sisler. That would have been a dangerous place for it, but Hanneman was able to avoid it. They're side by side through 1 and 2. Meanwhile, Austin Walton putting some daylight between himself and Jason Blaney in second. Half-second advantage plus. Back to the number 22. Hanneman runs third. Sisler fourth. Wesley Jeanette up into P5. Brandon Moore, even though he was involved in that last caution, has managed to keep himself into the top 10 in the 6th position. Then it's Nathan Line, Ben Smith. Juan Linares has fallen back to 9th, and Jim Treat, also involved in that last caution, remains in the top 10. Busco lighting system activated here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We are officially under the lights here in Concord, North Carolina. The sun goes down and the sparks will fly. It's Blaney grabbing a gear, starting to run down the 9. Quarter second now from 6/10 in just a couple of laps. And Blaney is there. 2 to 3 car lengths back to second place. Walton's running for his life. Last lap for Austin at 30:29. Blaney ran 0.3 faster. But faster still, Hanneman and Sisler, they're in the 29-second range. Austin Walton able to stretch his lead back out now to over half a second over Jason Blaney. I don't know if there was a mistake out of Walton that allowed Jason to close the gap, or if Jason just dropped the hammer and went after him. But now Jason's got to worry about Raymond Hanneman just a few feet off the back bumper. Teammates regardless. Hanneman trying to make his way back towards the front. Top 3, Walton, Blaney, Hanneman, then Sisler running 4th, Wesley Jeanette, P5. .30 laps remain here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Again, taking a peek at the pit strategy. Austin Walton went 42 on his first run. Then we got the caution here late, lap 81. He went 40 laps. It was a little short. We're 13 laps in now with 30 to go. So again, Walton would need to stretch the fuel an extra lap to make it to the finish, barring a green-white checkered finish. I don't think anybody's saving fuel right now. I think they're just out there trying to run this thing to the end, crossing their fingers that the yellow does not come out late. It's right on board here with Raymond Hanneman. Hanneman's so smooth on the steering inputs. Matt Sisler still in fourth. Wesley Jeanette in tow. Benjamin Smith in the number 11. I'm taking a look at this race car, and all race long, I swear it said FedEx, but as I look a little bit closer, it's a kind of a throwback spin-off of the FedEx Denny Hamlin scheme, but it says ZeroX. Really cool paint scheme. I don't know who painted that thing, but it looks good. Ooh, Ben hits the wall there off of 4. Further down the line here, Nathan Line in the 8th position. And Jim Treat in 9th, even after some contact with the wall, got the repairs made. Still got a fast race car underneath him. Mike Prachik back on the lead lap in the 10th spot. Old Johnny D back in 11th, up 6 spots. Jason Aranchak still lead lap as well. Real fast early, was running top 3. Scott Stockel in the 13th position. Chris Pieria in 14th, and the last car on the lead lap is Juan Linares, just getting off turn 2 in the 15th spot. Derek Buckaloo painted that scheme on the number 11 of Ben Smith. Zero Media and Design does great work. Hit them up. Certainly do. It's a good looking race car. Meanwhile, Austin Walton continues to pile up the laps led. 84 of 103 completed so far, and it'll make it 85 when he crosses the line. .21 to go from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Can Austin Walton hang on for another 20-plus laps and secure a victory here tonight? Will Jason Blaney or Raymond Hanneman spoil it? Or Wesley Jeanette? Jeanette and Sisler are back in the battle. Jeanette got clear, but now Sisler sticks the nose back to the inside. Dustin Rogerson making a very interesting point here in the stream chat about these drivers were so close to the $10 giveaway for a caution-free race. I forget, was it 10 total? Or was it 10 from you or 10 from me? So 20 total? I don't know. Either way, it's kind of a moot point now, but it still stands. If we get one in before the season's over, I'm still down. We got 16 to go here at Charlotte. Walton still leads, and Blaney's starting to chip away. A tenth faster than the 9 the last time by. Hanneman gets the wall a little bit, but Wesley Jeanette working his way through here. He's closed the gap back to the 85. Loses connection a couple of times, though, into turns 3 and 4. So 20 total. Got it. Still in. We'll carry it over to next season, too. I'm good with that. With 15 laps to go, I want to make mention here the IROC Challenge Series. It's just recently gone green flag at Kansas Speedway. That race will be aired tape delayed tomorrow evening here. Should be live about 8:15 in the East if you're interested in checking out those guys in the IROC Challenge Series. Zach Millett, TJ Majors. Sometimes we'll see Carson Quapple. Sometimes we'll see Dale Jr. It just depends. Oh, man, Sisler and Brandon Moore side by side, banging doors off turn 4. You can tell it's go time. Business is picked up here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Moore slips it up the racetrack in front of Sisler. Sisler's got to check up. Ben Smith going back to the whip. He's on the bottom. I don't know if Sisler's burned his car off a little early here. He's losing ground. Lost a couple of spots here in the last lap and a half, all over the back bumper of the 11. Jason Blaney right to the back bumper. Let's go on board. Blaney has caught race leader Austin Walton. Just a quarter second between them, maybe a couple of car lengths at best. Coming to 10 laps to go. Can Austin hang on and hold off the charge from Jason Blaney? Blaney gave up some time there off turn 4, scraped the outside safer barrier, and now Austin's going to check up a little bit, or check out for that matter. Back to half a second over Blaney. That dirty air really affecting the 22. Little bit of lap traffic coming into the mix. It'll be 8 laps left this time by, and they're reeling in a little bit of lap traffic. I think that's the 217 of Darren Jones. Meanwhile, Janikowski back on pit lane. Oh, man, big hit for Blaney off turn 4. He gets a big chunk of the wall, and Wesley Jeanette now is caught the 22. May have a battle here for second, and Austin Walton's going to love to see this in the rearview mirror as long as it doesn't bring out a yellow. Wesley taking a shallow exit off turn number 4. Didn't yield a whole lot of results there, but man, he's got a fast race car. Last lap, half a tenth faster than the 22 of Jason Blaney. Wesley switches lanes, goes to the top side, has a run off turn number 2, down the backstretch. They're going to drag race down into turn 3, but to no avail. Jeanette, with a whale of a run, will take over the second spot from Jason Blaney here, coming to 5 laps to go. Walton makes short work of the lap car. Now does Jeanette have enough time to run down the 9? Eight-tenths of a second back to second place in Wesley Jeanette. Man, it seems like anytime anybody gets close to the 9, he just grabs a gear and takes off, just picks up that much more pace. But last time by, very equal laps between Walton and Wesley Jeanette, within 1/100th of a second of each other. But we got 3 to go. Wesley's going to have to find something special here and dig deep. He's going to pick up this win. He's put some distance on third place Jason Blaney, but we got a battle for the third spot, or fourth spot that is. Hanneman and Brandon Moore side by side off turn number 2. Moore gets the fence and takes the spot. Jeanette giving everything he's got here. He's got it within half a second, but with 2 to go, I don't think he's got enough time without a mistake from Austin Walton. Coming to the white flag, Austin Walton, 1.5 miles to go. Jeanette's got it to just under half a second. Really not close enough to strike, but close enough to deal with the dirty air. Last time down the back straightaway into 3, Brandon Moore steps on a line on Jason Blaney for position. Austin Walton from the 7th starting spot. A dominant performance here in Charlotte Motor Speedway will take the checkered flag and win the North Carolina 125. Wesley Jeanette comes home into second position. Jason Blaney will settle for P3. .105 laps led by our winner, Austin Walton, albeit a dominant performance here tonight. Once that number 9 car got out in front, I don't think anybody passed him on the racetrack tonight. If anything, maybe pit stops, but a really impressive run out of Austin this evening. Celebratory donuts here at start finish. That'll do it for the donuts for Austin Walton. We'll step aside here, get our break out of the way. We'll be back with our top 3. Austin Walton, Wesley Jeanette, and Jason Blaney after this. Stay with us. Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Charlotte Motors Speedway, the North Carolina 125 in the books as the ZeroX Strategy Series Season 3 winds down. And Austin Walton parking it in victory lane with a dominant performance here this evening. Let's see if we can get a word with our race winner, Austin Walton. And Steve, what track limits? You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Austin, congratulations, man. A 7th place starting position, not terrible, but just above mid-pack. But, man, once you put that number 9 car out in the front, in clean air, you were almost unstoppable. 105 laps led here tonight, dominating performance en route to a victory. What was the key to success here tonight?
Two things, getting the lead, especially with this car, it's so aero-sensitive. And then the second part was just keeping the tires under it, keeping it easy on the car, beginning of the run, letting it last throughout the run. That's all I really did. Take care of the car, and the car took care of me.
Is this track kind of one of the tracks on the schedule that's kind of right in your wheelhouse as far as driving style, or do you just manage the tires better than everybody else?
Yeah, I love this track. Any chance I can run at Charlotte, I'll do it. Whether it's cup cars, mini stocks, or whatever. I love this track.
Well, a little change up next week, going to Gateway, penultimate race of the season, a flatter racetrack, and really unique. Both ends of the racetrack certainly not similar to each other. How do you prepare yourself maybe to go 2 in a row next week?
Lots of practice. I haven't run there in quite some time, so I'll probably have to do a couple practice sessions to get used to it. And I think the same with that track is just saving tires is key. So just have to see.
All right, Austin. Well, congratulations again, picking up the victory here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
I'd like to thank my girlfriend for putting up with me doing this stuff, every Tuesday night. And shout out to my son. And then also shout out to my teammate Juan. We race week in, week out, and tips and tricks with each other. And he's a big help in it. So.
All right, Austin. Well, again, job well done. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
Austin Walton, your race winner here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Next, we'll talk to the Clark Heating and Cooling number 74, Wesley Jeanette. We've talked about him quite a bit here as of late. Let's see how he feels about this runner-up finish. Wesley, it's Steve in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, hey, Steve.
Wesley, congratulations, man. A ninth-place start, second-place finish. That's not too shabby any way you stack it. The car seemed really fast there in that final run, especially coming towards the checkers. Did you just save a bunch there in that final green flag run to the finish?
I did. I just kind of settled in there, was trying to save a little for the end, and looks like I saved a little more than most, and maybe if I'd had a couple more laps, I could have got to him. But I'm happy to finally put a complete race together. It's been a while. Didn't shoot myself in the foot, so I'll take a second place and build on it. See what we can do next week.
Well, pace is something you certainly have not been lacking. A little bit of good luck certainly fell on your side tonight, so that helps when you get that side of things mixed into everything. But a second-place finish here tonight. You talk about next week. We're going to Gateway, a much different racetrack, rather unique, kind of like a flat Darlington. How do you get ready for that place?
Man, I love Gateway. I haven't ran there in a while, so I don't know what it's going to be like this time around. But yeah, I'm welcoming that track. That's one of my favorites. So we'll get a bunch of practice in this week and see how it feels, and we'll be ready.
All right, Wesley. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Congratulations on P2. Who do you want to thank?
My fiance, I know she's watching. Hey, Lene. Hope I did good for you finally. And then all my teammates, all the guys that fueled up, and Clark Heating and Cooling, been on my car for a while, and Dustin and all the guys that put on this league. I think tonight was a great race, and it was a lot of fun, and everybody's kind of learning each other a little bit and giving a little space when you can, and that's what makes a great league. But yeah, just thank you guys in the booth, and we'll see you next week.
Wesley Jeanette, P2 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Thanks for chatting again, man. Good luck next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next, we'll talk to third place Jason Blaney. Had a fast race car this evening. He led some laps, lost that second position late in this race to Wesley Jeanette, but let's get a word with driver the number 22, another Clark Heating and Cooling entry. It's Jason Blaney. Jason, it's Steve in the booth. You got us?
Hey, what's going on, Steve?
Jason, congrats, man. Third place finish, second place start. You dropped back a spot. You led some laps tonight. Ran P2 there late, but Wesley Jeanette powered around the outside. Might have saved a little bit more in the tire department than everybody else. Was that really the difference maker here at the end?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I tried to pace my tires behind Austin for 3/4 of that last run, and I thought I was taking it easy, waiting for Austin to fall out, but I guess I was just staying close enough to him where the dirty air was still affecting my stuff. So once I told myself, okay, it's go time, let's try and make a pass, I guess we were still on even tires. And once I pushed harder, trying to downshift gears, pick different lanes, do whatever I could to get past him, I think I overheated the tires, burnt them up. And Wesley was back there, in the catbird seat, just waiting. And that's all she wrote. It was really hard to pass the leader. I mean, good job on Austin blocking lanes and stuff like that. I wish it stayed green the whole run. I felt like I had a really good strategy, and honestly, that green flag pit stop would have shown a lot on the pace and the tire savings and the strategies, but it all went out the window. And looking back at it, I probably should have just pushed it faster, trying to pass them earlier on in the tires, but I thought about it, and I'm like, okay, if I pass him and push early, that leaves, Ray or someone else behind me to have those fresher tires, and then I'm playing defense against them, and I never want to do that against a teammate. So I made my bed, and I guess third place is where I'm laying.
We watched you a couple of times really run Austin down there, get it to within almost a quarter of a second, and then quickly fall back. Was Dirty Air really that much of a disruptor here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't probably have been as bad if the top lane still worked. I tried to use the top lane, it quickly went away. I don't know if the new tire update with the marbles up there or what happened, but it wasn't really usable. And I mean, it's been that way all year, the Dirty Air. And I got to 0.3 of a second 3 times on them, but as soon as we went into the next corner when I was 0.3 in, there's just not enough of different lanes for me to break the Dirty Air and still have pace. And once you're pushing tight, you got to lift off the gas or what it may be, and I just couldn't get past them. That's Dirty Air was certainly a factor tonight, absolutely.
Season winding down, we roll into Gateway next week, a track that we're going to use a lot more brake than we do here at Charlotte. How do you feel about your chances at an opportunity of a win next week?
Yeah, they've done some renditions to that track. I used to be kind of rough at it. It seems kind of a New Hampshire type track. It was a pass-through track for me, but they did some asphalt updates, obviously new tire model now. So the last time I ran it, I felt like I was really comfortable, and I've had some actual pace I didn't see, beforehand. But it's one of those, like, see what happens when you get there type of tracks for me. But I hope, based on the last time I ran there, that I can be competitive and still have a chance at somehow getting to this last race of the season and competing for the championship, because I've got some work to do for sure.
All right, Jason. Well, a job well done here tonight. An impressive run to finish P3. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, all my guys that Fueled Up Motorsports week in and week out. They always put in all the practice, and they race really hard and put their whole 125% effort into it. And I don't know where they find the extra 25%, but they definitely got it. So big shout out to them. Obviously, the podium card here tonight, Clark Heating and Cooling. I also want to thank New HD Media, Admin Box, Action Sports Canopies, Factory FX, W Energy, obviously you in the booth, man. And I'm happy that we're getting another season going, so big shout out to Dustin on putting this all together and giving us another shout out to him, and giving us another shot to get another trophy on the winning table. So
I knew we'd guilt him into it.
Yeah, it took a while, but he folded.
All right, Jason. Well, job well done, man. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Jason Blaney, third place here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That'll do it for our interview portion of tonight's broadcast. Let's take a look here at our race results. We talked to our top 3 already. Austin Walton, Wesley Jeanette, Jason Blaney. Brandon Moore comes home in the 4th spot. Raymond Hanneman, P5, after going to the back at the start. Ben Smith was strong very early, salvaged a top 10 in P6. Matt Sisler fell off there in the final run, finishes in the 7th position. Nathan Line was 8th. Jim Treat, after a wreck, our only wreck tonight, finishes in the 9th spot. Mike Prachik was 10th. Johnny DePasquale was 11th. Jason Aranchak finishes 12th. Chris Pieria, 13th. Scott Stockel comes home in the 14th position. 15th place was Juan Linares. Michael Thornton, 16th. Darren Jones, 17th. Tom Janikowski, pole sitter tonight, finishes 18th, 5 laps down after a pit road speeding violation. Tough break for the 93 tonight. Jackson West comes home 19th. Don Canwright was 20th. Ken Lowry credited with 21st, but storms in the area. Got to go down to that cellar. Got to be safe. Kind of hope everything works out okay for you with those storms, man. We're hoping to see you here at Gateway next week. Your race results here for the North Carolina 125. Thank you guys all for tuning in here tonight. Tell you that stream chat was a little slow to get going this evening, but once it did, well, it took off like wildfire, as it always does here in the ZeroX Strategy Series. Looking forward to more of that in the next couple of races, and certainly want to carry that on into the next season. Thank you guys all for tuning in here tonight. Congratulations to Austin Walton picking up the victory here at Charlotte. We'll see you guys again next week at Gateway here on Track Limits.